I get a lot of messages from creators who are tired of lugging around big, cord-bound panels only to find out they can't fit them into a cramped apartment or a tight outdoor location. The hesitation is real. You're looking at a piece of gear that promises studio quality, but you're not sure if it will actually survive the day-to-day grind, or if it will end up just another gadget gathering dust. That's why I'm going to walk through the Nanlite Pavotube 15xr 2ft Rgbww pixel tube and try to give you a clear picture of whether it delivers the value it promises, where it shines, and where it might fall short. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest draw of this tube is the freedom from cords. Inside the housing lives a 2,200 mAh lithium-ion battery that lets you walk anywhere, a rooftop at golden hour, a coffee shop corner, or a cramped backstage area, and still have a light that's ready to go. For anyone who's ever been stuck waiting for an outlet or tangled in extension cords, that autonomy is a game changer. It also means you have to think about battery life as a real variable. In my tests, when I pushed the tube into its brighter settings and cranked through the pixel-based effects, the battery drained noticeably faster than when I kept it at a steady wash. That's not a flaw so much as a trade-off. You get portability, but you have to plan for recharge or a spare pack if you're shooting long sessions. The other big selling point is the pixel-based special effects library. Nanlite built in 15 adjustable effects that range from simple color fades to more complex strobe patterns. In practice, I found the rainbow sweep handy for music video intros, while the pulse mode helped add a subtle rhythmic beat to interview backgrounds. Because the effects are baked into the tube's firmware, you don't need an external controller or a laptop to trigger them. A single button on the side lets you scroll through the library, adjust speed, and lock in the look. That simplicity is a blessing for solo shooters who don't want to juggle a separate DMX console, but it also means you're limited to the preset options. If you need custom pixel mapping for a specific visual effect, you'll have to look elsewhere. Now let's talk about the light quality itself. The description promises studio quality lighting anywhere, and in real-world use that holds up. The Rgbww LEDs give you a fairly smooth transition between colors, and the white channel, the WW part, is close enough to daylight that you can use the tube as a key light for portrait work without getting an unwanted color cast. I tried it on a small product shoot, a pair of sneakers on a white backdrop, and the tube provided a soft, even spill that eliminated harsh shadows while still giving me enough punch to separate the product from the background. It's not a replacement for a full-size softbox when you need massive diffusion, but for its size it throws a surprisingly usable quality of light. Durability is another aspect that matters once the tube lands in your bag. Nanlite upgraded the housing to a solid metal shell, and you can feel that heft when you hold it. In a couple of on-location days, I tossed the tube into a rain-soaked backpack, and after the shoot it still looked pristine, no dents, no water intrusion. That robustness is reassuring for anyone who travels frequently or works in environments where gear takes a beating. The only downside is the weight. At just under 2 pounds, it's still heavier than a typical LED panel of similar size, so you'll want a sturdy mounting solution. The bundle includes a cold shoe mount, but for longer runs you'll likely need a small tripod or a magnetic base, which are sold separately. Who should consider adding the Pavotube 15xr to their kit? If you're a content creator who does a mix of indoor and outdoor shoots, especially in tight spaces, the battery-free operation and compact 2-foot form factor are huge wins. Indie filmmakers who need a quick, color-rich accent light for a set piece, or vloggers who want a portable look maker for spontaneous scenes, will find the tube's flexibility appealing. Event videographers can also benefit. The built-in effects can add a splash of color to a stage backdrop without wiring up a whole lighting rig. Basically, anyone who values mobility and wants a light that can double as both a wash and a creative effects source will get good mileage. On the flip side, there are clear cases where you might want to skip it. If you're a photographer whose work relies on long, continuous illumination, say, a studio portrait photographer who spends hours under a single softbox, the limited battery runtime and the relatively small light output may become a bottleneck. Likewise, if you're hunting for a low-cost starter light, the Pavotube II sits at a premium price point compared to basic LED panels. And if your workflow is built around DMX-controlled lighting consoles, The lack of external control ports could feel restrictive. Let's break down that.